the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Somewhere in July this year, and Ghana for the National Democratic Congress GD4 Enyanti say omo flag bearer the former President John Dramani Mahama de nani achiremu Russia okodi dwumabi. Now, people started giving varying reasons as to the visit of the former president to Vladimir Putin's country. Ebichiremu oko solicited for support for election 2024. Ebi say my first coup d'etat book I try no na wa translate into the Russian language and our dey call hodomo akwa ho dewro. There were several other reasons given by people close to him and the confidant about the visit to Russia. Now, and then maybe kind the leaked document, AP now what we made imube and kono at the brain catcher say, Yabetwaswa. Now, in this leaked document, Nsem-Pii womb, and it is going to give you a fair idea of Jomedie Poti, a course to Russia during the visit of the former president. Very, very, very interesting. I will be also a person who follow this story biano and story hidden. Oko asase radio and asase tv.com. Yes, story no ebohoda dada. Now, Osha document no said the dinti no offer no the winning 2024 and beyond a comprehensive NDC strategy. Page number 56, chapter 11. Was say, navigating the constitutional limitations on John Mahama's presidency. Navigating the constitutional limitations on John Mahama's presidency. And Tibuku no say there is a limitation on John Mahama's presidency because according to the constitution, every president is entitled to 2 terms in office. Each term a period of 4 years. The former president Eddie Country and the first term, 2012 to 2016. And our just 1 term, which is a period of 4 years each. And to say abaya yekotui, all things being equal. Se Ghana for the former president Nsem-Pii katum to Obama. It means say over from 2025 obey swearing in to 2029 4 years. That is an tenure abewie. But in this leaked document, omo kire say kwan yo betumi afaso and navigate this constitutional limitation no that the former president is. Now ye kwan be ya, let's read through and as much as possible explanation in Chino ebeba. Almost say the document essentially acknowledges that a significant obstacle lies ahead, which is the constitutional limitation that prevents our flag bearer John Dramani Mahama from serving more than 1 additional term as president if he wins in 2024. The document reads, according to Article 66, Clause 2 of the Constitution, a person shall not be elected to hold office as President of Ghana for more than 2 terms, which implies that our flag bearer would be barred from seeking re-election in 2029. This constitutional provision could undermine his accountability to the electorate, as voters may feel reluctant to elect a candidate who is not constitutionally bound to face them for re-election. And a document in Chiremu say, Ghana mamra constitution de bo man ho bra. Okay, kan ne fa bia ya article 66 clause 2 a e hye honom say nipa bia ne honom a watwa ne 2 terms as mampanyina wi a obetumi asa agina se yansan to no so aba for more than the 2 terms ourselves. Enu nti omo NDC susu say ebe ha former president John Dramani Mahama yi emra oni Ghana fo eto abedi nkomo because Ghana for do na be susu adwiri mu say obi a yeto aba ma na wotwa wonfie na wi a onsa ma yenchen mebu akonta emfa nkyere de wutumi ye ne de wontumi anye de edi enti na sese to abama because to abama wade opa bia betumi anye because oni ani akontabuo bia bio esa ne semfie nan pe na wutwa enti o ma hunu se saa de no abeye kam any a form of a limitation the former president are all representing womo in this year's 2024 election. Almost say to counter this, a strategic plan must be put in place to reshape public perception and explore avenues for constitutional amendment. This chapter outlines the steps the NDC must take to manage this challenge, drawing on precedent from other African nations and international examples such as Russia, and detailing the work required to influence both public opinion and the judicial system. The NDC's purported strategic document suggests, while exploring the possibility of a constitutional amendment, the document appears to draw inspiration more from the Russia model and from Russia's President Vladimir Putin. And this can be confirmed in the document is the more reason why it necessitated for the traveling of our flag bearer John Dramani Mahama to Russia to carefully explore the model as to how strategically we will go about it if he wins the 2024 elections. By suggesting that an easier option would be to go to a favorable Supreme Court bench for an interpretation on whether the two-term limitations refers to a bar from seeking a third consecutive term or a third term simpliciter. At page 56, under the title Securing Constitutional Interpretation or Constitutional Amendment, Seeking Supreme Court Interpretation, the supposed strategy is laid out bare. In addition to public propaganda, the NDC must pursue a judicial strategy to challenge the current interpretation of Article 66 Clause 2 of the Constitution. The legal argument should focus on the notion that 2 terms means 2 consecutive terms. Since Mahama's first term was interrupted and he served his first term between 2012 and 2016, a legal case could be made that he is eligible to run for 2 more consecutive terms if he wins in 2024, the document argues. It continues, significant groundwork must be laid to influence the Supreme Court to ensure a favorable interpretation. Almost this includes working towards expanding the court's composition by appointing additional justices sympathetic to the NDC's understanding of the Constitution as applied by Putin in Russia. Eti kwan ya so omofaso atumi ayesa constitutional amendment no ma present o legal case ni say o ma challenge article 66 clause 2 na ka say emra no kire say the 2 terms must be consecutive, but unfortunately the former president terms na consecutive because they moved between 2012 to 2016 and a break a bell for 8 years. Yeah, no na don't go for the same way, and it means that the 2 consecutive terms na nyejuma. Meaning said the first term or try no ashiagu. Hence, samutu abamano in 2024. Now we transfer 4 years. It means that our kwenya so obesan apply bill and obesan gina bill. And no, and another man kwenya for the 2 consecutive terms as according to omono interpretation. And omuchirem say, said the beya as a case no mu pia de ewura Supreme Court no, ebeye favorable ni agya tumunti. Omo di road map egu akwamu ombe appointing additional justices to the Supreme Court omo ye sympathetic omo dwene NDC ho en kwan NDC fa so te sa constitutional tool ye article 66 clause 2 no fa so te ase na aboa mo motumi implement sa adwene na sa pepepe na ye wura Vladimir Putin ye Russia wotumi akọ assign ababi. It adds, by shaping the court's composition, we increase the likelihood of obtaining a ruling favoring this constitutional interpretation of ours. It is recalled that in Russia, where after exhausting his 2 terms as president of Russia, Mr. Vladimir Putin was barred from a 3rd consecutive term, his strategy was to go for a turn democracy by simply swapping places to be succeeded by his prime minister Dmitry Medvedev from 2008 to 2012. Instructively, Putin then returned in 2012 to start all over again as president. Thus, a 3rd term may be possible so long as it does not continue consecutively from the earlier 2 without a break. Our flag bearer has already given public notice that he intends to appoint more justices to the Apex Court. If elected, the Chief Justice has also made it clear that there are more judges needed to ease the overwhelming workload of cases, and hence, it can be done smoothly. On the option of amending the constitution, the alleged leaked document argues somewhat oddly that the opposition party must rather counter concerns over a potential lack of accountability after a possible Mahama way, spreading a narrative that suggests Mahama will work towards amending the constitution to allow him serve beyond a single term. This messaging must be carefully crafted to appeal to voters who believe in strong leadership and stability, emphasizing the need for continuity in leadership to ensure long-term national development. This idea is to create a sense that Mahama's leadership is indispensable for Ghana's progress and that an extension of his term will enable him to implement his vision for the country fully. The document argues. This narrative should be supported by references to international examples where constitutional changes have been made to allow presidents to extend their stay in power by normalizing the idea of constitutional amendment for incumbents. We can soften public resistance to such a move in Ghana, the document attributed to the NDC says. It goes ahead to cite 4 examples of constitutional amendments in Africa and Russia that could be exploited by a Mahama administration in Ghana, noting that across the African continent, several countries have altered their constitution to allow incumbent presidents to extend their term and time in office. And to her document now, examples, example number 1, Uganda in 2005. President Yoweri Museveni extending his stay in office. He first came to power in 1986. And the second example in the document, Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara now ran for a controversial 3rd term in 2020, citing changes to the constitution that reset the presidential term limit. The third, Rwanda's Paul Kagame, and the last one, Russia's Vladimir Putin. Enti, Chadia Meka se bribia document yibeyi baako. Na ya bomodin si ebe chichiri as much as possible because bibia no e document no bia obia no a wakenkan duru achiri na onim sede the National Democratic Congress adwene no be hu say it is a carefully thought through plan ready to be executed by them in opposition.
Pass. It a peak period that say that time na juma for ko juma onu mo ko onu niema omo yesu ya na ayedin papa so ya na rely on but no so no okrampa ibidu hono na ni peku hono peti sie ya mo pon match ya me nam kwaso am se me be na wo fini pa ku abontia omo peka eni ka wo ho a endoso na adeno na eyo how nti wo ye say onu ni nyansa mo anka yintumi nya basis bia ni bo no so ewo form in terms of transport costs no and also ewo form amount between use the idea akoniaba na no na o kan say team no hwe na ka yinya 100 buses between the ayesa na enye bus use diesel na petrol na gas ni mum buses use electricity intini di kan shate charging system ho asem inti sem no cafe enema wo mo de charging system no nyina no omo de aba omo hye ho ase aye ho ntutue de bidi kan no omo beye enan enunu ya ansana bosumi akona wieye anase November yaba omo ye enan ewo nkran na omo akoye ni nu so wo komase na yetumi de ama ba na eba eno mo asem ye wi ma se ne make say omo guso omo ye ho ntutuya omo ACC charging stations no inti no ye wi ye no ya call buses no so buses na se wo hwa wo social media bibria omo edi ho adanse ye hwe ni se nkudu bosu we na wi ye na say early next month na first consignment of between 30 thereabout and so about 20 and 30 between 20 and 30 na babitrua na ye year and also ye di ba ye register na ye di aba na Ghana for use se o hwede ta no hu se idea se ye di ni koso ye adwin se ye be electric e betumi akọ nti the first 100 riba ni ahwe seni sitie na seni amount on so be jiatum na yatoaso nti se wo bisa me an tofa bomo no de asie
go very quick one afi yemfa nkomo no emra na wieye galamse hu nsam ne anamo aban A2A chairman of all chairmen 2020 affect him big time. They say who says excavators bi hokra e sha say the jet tutum no ne ade enya ayam hihie
ayam hihie na ehu say de me ubisa me ade ini say Ghana for ijai galamse hu asem ka ini say Ghana for eye say aban a wotiso no na sedie say obestopu galamse nti no ono na onye na galamse fo nso beka say we aban na say we wadwin so do nsa bekan a ene ye nso even make sure say wakonya no abo nti say ye hwe ne say ade no eye ade a edi nyina edi o how brave endra anopa na me ka wo mu station ho say me baby a me feel no baby na me constituency e wo first na ya Chinso Odro constituency na chance e part of it na me na me ye chairman e wa Chinso Odro constituency na ye constituency no a part of it no wo ye ne Ashanti region any central region and a bush na pra no esi esoro ho eba besin akwa eye ho no na eni bremu no ebom bremu no ebe bopra no mu ewo ho na